Currently, over 128 million objects larger than a millimeter are orbiting the Earth, transforming the space around it into a junkyard. These objects range from inactive satellites to flakes of paint. But even a millimeter of cosmic junk traveling at extremely high speeds can be catastrophic to many satellites that connect us around the world. Years. So far, we have sent over 11,140 satellites in Earth's orbit. Out of these, 3,372 satellites are currently active. The rest are inactively floating in our orbit. The number of satellites has increased drastically over the past few years. Now the low Earth orbit is about to become even more crowded. Over the next few decades, SpaceX is hoping to send a constellation of 42,000 satellites.
Some of NASA's latest space dreams came crashing down in Central Australia today.
A bit of sci-fi hitting home for a Michigan couple.
Sky is falling on the Navajo Nation. This morning, people there trying to find out what crash landed.
Balloons have been a part of NASA research for decades.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
A giant helium balloon packed with expensive scientific instruments lost its moorings in high winds. As Anna Henderson reports, it cut a swathe through an airfield and sent onlookers running for their lives.
Satellite crash landed in their backyard, and their reaction? Priceless.
Parachute. There's an orange parachute it came down with it.
As the giant helium balloon was launched into the air, its precious cargo became a high-speed projectile. Unexpected strong winds pushed the 2-ton platform of scientific instruments off course and onto a path of destruction.
A satellite that had crash landed on their property, still blinking and still attached to a parachute. Samsung Europe's space selfie balloon came back down to Earth.
The glad-wrapped thin giant balloon came down in a nearby field and will be thrown away. The balloons are launched into the stratosphere carrying cutting-edge telescopes that help give astronomers and scientists a much clearer view of space. One balloon was successfully launched earlier this month, and NASA is adamant it will have another ready for takeoff shortly. But after today's event, spectators will be told to stay away.
We're going to learn how NASA takes enormous specialized balloons to extraordinary heights. Here to tell us about the huge role balloons play in NASA's high-altitude science is Debbie Fairbrother, Chief Technologist in the Balloon Program Office at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia.
NASA's been using balloons for science research for over 30 years. The standard balloon that I fly is about 660 feet long when it's made. So when it's inflated, it's over 400 feet tall by 440 feet wide. Think of a dome stadium. That's how big my balloons are when they reach float.
It's what allows us to rely on instant everything. Phone calls, banking, web surfing, email, streaming video, and other communication. And it all began 150 years ago.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
95%.
It's been 150 years since the first transatlantic cable began ushering in global communication. When you pick up the phone to reach out and touch someone across the oceans, it's only possible because of ships like the Global Sentinel. This is how worldwide communication begins. Under ocean fiber optic cable.
They're calling it the same way they did in the 1800s. Cable comes right off into the ocean from here.
Robots take over from there, diving to a depth too deep for humans. The machines use water jets to create a trench, allowing the cable to sink into the seabed and become buried. Today, a maze of fiber optic cables crisscross the oceans and the U.S.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Space dreams, a bit of sci-fi.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
95%.
Ahoj, nedávno jsem přinášel informaci o tom, že nejsou nahoře satelity, nebo respektive každý si myslí, že satelity nám přináší data, přináší nám obraz, přináší nám telefony a všechno tohle možný. A teď vám ukážu, jak to teda doopravdy ve skutečnosti je a každý si to může vyhledat sám na internetu. A tady to máme. Podmořské kabely transportují 99% mezinárodních dat. A tady se na to můžeš podívat. Většina lidí vůbec neví, že 99% všech zámořských dat, včetně telefonních volání, message, to znamená zpráv a internetového použití, jde skrze moře přes kabely, takže žádný satelity. A tady vidíš, jak jsou propojeny kabely mezi kontinentama. A je docela zajímavá věc, teď se na to dobře podívej, jak není propojený Jižní Amerika s Afrikou. Takže žádný kabel tady. A ani žádný kabel semka do Austrálie. A teďka ti ukážu přesně, proč se to děje. A je to proto, protože ty kontinenty jsou od sebe takhle vzdáleny, jak vidíš, 1, 2 a 3. Proto tam ty kabely opravdu nejsou. Jo, můžeš namítnout, že tady je spojení kabelů mezi Jižní Amerikou a Afrikou, tady je důkaz. No ale proč? Protože ano, tady je to opravdu jenom malej kousek. Takže jak jste viděli, žádné satelity, které by přenášely tyhle ty věci, o kterých si všichni myslí, že to děláme skrz satelity, proto máme takový super signál. Stačí si zajít na pobřeží k moři, kde stěží chytneš data nebo signál. Takže kdyby to byly satelity, tak je to pokrytý včetně oceánů a včetně všeho. Jde to přes pozemní vysílače, co se týká země a mezi kontinentama je všechno přes kabely. Takže já si myslím, že je to docela dost finančně náročný položit takový obrovský dlouhý kabel mezi dvěma kontinentama. Takže kdyby nahoře jsme měli tolik satelitů, jak se vykládá, tak by to bylo asi zbytečný. Takže když v roce 2023, což bylo před měsícem, ještě nedávno, což je vlastně čerstvá informace, bylo 99% dat internetových, 99% volání a SMSek mezi kontinentama bylo přenášeno skrze podmorský kabely, aby bylo v tom jasno.
Now to a rare look at the tiny cables that run along the bottom of the ocean, connecting Australia with the rest of the world. We rely on this network anytime we stream Netflix, FaceTime someone overseas, or do a Google search. But most of us never give it a second thought.
Resting on the ocean floor among the seaweed and the fish.
Cable sitting on the seabed.
The reason you can pick up your phone and access any information or video you want.
99% of that digital content comes from our subsea cable network.
Telstra operates around 400,000 kilometres of subsea cable connecting Australia with the world. This is what they look like up close.
They're so tiny.
Yeah, no, it's remarkable. It just amazes me how much the technology has advanced from this to that.
This is coaxial cable. It connected Australia to New Zealand in the 80s and could carry about 1,000 phone calls. That is fibre optic, capable of 200 million calls. But now it's all about data. From your phone to a tower, the data then travels to a cable station across the ocean floor and back at the speed of light. The strategic importance of this underwater information highway on show last month when the Australian government partnered with the United States and Google, a $100 million deal to run undersea cables to at least 8 Pacific Island nations.
The international subsea cables make land in Australia here on Sydney's eastern and northern beaches, as well as the Gold Coast and in Perth. They are constantly monitored for any disruption. Just last year, the United States foiled a plan to hack one of its cables near Hawaii.
Telstra has built layers of protection, from the armour that coats the fibres to a warning system if a boat gets close, and patrols across Australia and Asia, including mainland China, to fix any disruptions.
If the water is 8 kilometres deep, it could take 8 hours to get the grappling hook to the bottom, and then you've got to...
So it's no quick fix?
No. It can take a week.
Other cables will carry the load while that happens, so we are none the wiser to this magic of modern technology. In Tamarama, Jane Azapati, 9 News.